in terms of the markets that we're keeping an eye out on, US was a bit of a mixed trading session, not much of a up move or down move that we saw coming in on Friday. While down saw some bit of a gain and loss was a flip-flop between the Dow as well as the Nasdaq. Now, what we're keeping an eye out on today in terms of the Asian markets, yes, there is the Lunar New Year, so we have a Taiwan index that's shut, but the other indices which are open, we're seeing some bit of a negative move there as well, except for ASX 200, which is managing to hold on to a slight bit of a gain of 0.1%. We're seeing Kospi, we're seeing Nikkei, all of them trading with cuts. Let's look at the Nifty implied open, where that indication is coming in for the Indian markets. Actually, it's a down tick that we're seeing coming in of 96 points in the trading session that we're watching out for. So let's keep an eye out on that. A bit of a red start again is what we're watching out for from the Indian markets. But a lot of overnight cues that have come in, a lot of commentary that has come in globally as well. How is that going to be impacting our Indian markets? We have a team of research here to set you up for trade, tell you which are the important stocks to watch out for in the trading session as well. First up, let's go across to Gaurav, who's here to tell us the important cues in the market that we're keeping an eye out on. Good morning, Gaurav.
Well, good morning. If you look at Nifty, it wasn't a good day if we consider last week or in fact the last day itself, because Nifty declined almost by 1.3%, and the top losers were Hindalco, Eternal, HUL and Adani Enterprises along with others. In fact, only 6 out of 50 constituents were in green at the end of Friday's session. But now what option data suggests is that there is going to be some pressure on the upside itself, because 25,500 to 25,600 is the level where resistance will be there, while on the downside 25,300 is somewhere we may find a near-term support. Apart from that, if you look at the sector-wise performance also, it wasn't a good scene. In fact, all the sectoral indices were down. If we look at Nifty Metals, it was down more than 3%, while Nifty Realty and Nifty Energy was down more than 2%. And if you look at the FIR-DII data as well, it suggests that the FIR were net sellers. They sold worth more than 7,000 crores worth of equity in cash. Now, what to expect? When we look at today, we have got public holiday at many of the exchanges across the globe, like China, Taiwan and USA. We also have early closure at Hong Kong and Singapore. So we will be seeing any cues from there. But apart from that, let's also not forget about it will be a day when Japan will introduce its 25 growth estimates. So let's see how the number comes, because that number can actually be an important trigger for economic environment across the globe. Other than that, from the Indian market, we have results like NBCC, Torrent Pharma, KFin Tech, Ola Electric. All of these companies reported their results over the weekend. So let's see how these companies perform. And at the same time, we will be getting the WPI data. So let's watch out for that as well. And today, it will be a day when AI Impact Summit will begin. So let's see how it will also impact market and specifically the IT stocks in the days going ahead.
Okay, Gaurav, thank you so much for that. But let's go across to Ria, who's here to tell us which are the important stocks that you should be keeping on your radar. Good morning, Ria.
Well, good morning. The first stock to watch out for today is Malappuram Finance. They have received a conditional nod from RBI for Bain Capital's proposed acquisition of up to 41.66% stake in the company. So this stock will be in focus on the back of that news flow. There are also a lot of companies reporting their Q3 numbers over the weekend. The first one is Ola Electric, reporting a net loss of roughly 487 crores versus a loss of 564 crores in Q3 of last year. Revenue has also declined by roughly 55% for the company. For NBCC, the net profit has seen an increase of almost 40%, and even the revenue has gone up by roughly 8% on a year-on-year basis. For Inox Wind, revenue has gone up by 32%, and margins have come in slightly stable at 23.3% in this quarter. For IRB Infra, revenue has seen a decline of roughly 8% compared to Q3 of last year, but margins have expanded to 54.6% in this quarter versus just 48.6% in Q3 of last year. Moving on to Torrent Pharma, the net profit has seen an increase of roughly 26% on a year-on-year basis, and revenue has also gone up by almost 18%. For Tilak Nagar Industries, revenue has seen a whopping increase of 80% compared to the previous year. Margins have remained flat at 8% for the company. For KFin Tech, net profit has gone up by roughly 2%. Revenue also seeing an increase of almost 28% on a year-on-year basis. For Fortis Health as well, good numbers here. Revenue seeing an increase of roughly 17.5%. Margins have also expanded to 22% in in this quarter. For GMR Airports as well, revenue has jumped up by 50% on a year-on-year basis. In fact, in the month of Jan as well, the passenger traffic has gone up by almost 4% on a year-on-year basis for the company. Apart from this, Hindustan Copper will also be in focus today. The Jharkhand government has demanded a compensation of roughly 930 crores from the company. And apart from this, a lot of pharma stocks will also be in focus today. The first one is Aurobindo Pharma. The US FDA has approved an ointment by the arm of the company called Acrotech Biopharma. And Natco Pharma will also be in focus today. They have received an approval from the CDSCO for semaglutide in India.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Ria. But let's go across now to Sudarshan, who's here to tell us which are the important cues in the world of F&O. Good morning, Sudarshan. Last week, that IT sell-off continued. We saw markets seeing a very dull week as well. This week, what are we keeping an eye out on, and specifically today?
Good morning, Vinny. So, two key questions. Will it be a happy Monday? We too celebrate India's win against Pakistan and we see recovery in the market, or market will be clouded by Monday blues. And if you take a look at the data, both the possibilities can happen today because FIs remain aggressive and they continue to be on the call side. We are seeing aggressive call writing in the range of 25,500 to 25,800. But if there is one silver lining, that is the put call ratio of Nifty, which has slipped further. And now we are in the oversold zone. So PCR on Friday has slipped to 0.65 from the earlier level of 0.82. So when PCR is in the range of 0.60 to 0.70, we say it's in the oversold zone. And from that level, there is a probability of recovery. Now coming to the FI's figure. In the index futures, they have sold more than 2,400 crore. In the stock futures too, they have sold more than 3,200 crore. They have reduced long positions by more than 5,700 contracts. They have added short positions by more than 8,500 contracts. And now look at the options data. On the put side, 25,300 and 25,000. These two put options were the most active ones where premium has moved higher. While on the call side, 25,600 and 25,500. Even if you look at 25,800 call options, for all these call options, premium has taken a sharp knock down. That's the support for Nifty, 25,300. That's the 200-day moving average. And resistance would be 25,800. That's 50-day moving average. Two stocks remain in the band, SAIL and Sammaan Capital. Some of the stocks that have seen big change in underlying as well in the open interest. Coforge, it was down 4%, but if you take a look in the open interest, it was up 25%. Muthoot Finance down 12%, then open interest 12% higher. iShares up 1.5% in the open interest, down 4%, and Bajaj Finance plus 2% in the open interest, down 5%. So keep an eye on these stocks may be in the focus on the back of big changes in the OI.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Now we're going to keep an eye out on whether the market is steering that India-Pakistan win or Monday blues. We'll talk about that later through the day as well. Thanks so much for that, Sudarshan.